Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me on the Chris Gates Fitness Podcast. I am Chris. Thank you for listening, and I'm excited to dive into this episode of the podcast today. It's going to be a little bit of a shorter episode than usual, but we're going to dive into some things that are really practical and helpful, and you may be able to take these and implement them immediately, because what we're going to talk about in today's episode is the best home gym equipment for a limited space or for a limited budget, okay? I'm going to dive into a few pieces of equipment that I personally own that I think are really, really beneficial and could be great foundational starting points for you to use if you want to build your own home gym space. And I want to stress for this episode that you don't have to have a large space to create a home gym. You don't even have to have a space in your home that is designated for only being a home gym. You can designate an area that also, doubles as a living room or a bedroom or an office or something like that, but have some equipment that you can pull out and use in this space to get legitimately good workouts in. I am super passionate about home gyms because I have built one myself, and tons of my clients, current and past, use their own home gyms too. It's been a lot of fun to work with people and kind of maximize what you have available to you to get in good workouts and continue to work towards whatever your goals may be. If it's building muscle, burning fat, wanting to feel more athletic, feel more healthy, really whatever the goal is, you can get creative and you can do a lot with a little. And so we're going to dive into that today. What's the best home gym equipment for limited space? And kind of, I guess, a side note to that is on a limited budget. The equipment, if you add all of it up that I'm going to talk about in this episode, is only going to cost you a few $100s if you get all of it, and you don't have to get all of it. So I think this is going to be really beneficial, and I appreciate you tuning in, like I said before. Real quick, before we dive into the meat of the episode, as always, I want to remind you that I am a coach, and if you're interested in getting some personalized, customized training and nutrition programming to help you work towards whatever your goals are, a lot of those things I just mentioned, like building muscle, burning fat, feeling more athletic, feeling healthier, just generally feeling more confident, and truly learning about the ins and outs of training and nutrition and how you're supposed to apply this stuff to your daily lifestyle to just feel healthier on a daily basis and feel more athletic and more confident and look and feel the way that you want to look and feel. Well, that's what I do. I work with people all over the world to accomplish that. And if you're interested in talking about coaching, I would love to talk to you about what your goals are and talk about how we might be able to put a program together for you. So there is a link to my coaching page in the show notes for this episode if you would like to check that out. And if you like what you see, you can submit an application and I'll reach out to you. We can discuss things more. So, and you know what? I always forget this, so I'm going to mention this as well. You're listening to the podcast right now. If you are not subscribed to the podcast, wherever you listen, please do so. This podcast is on every podcasting platform there is. Make sure you're subscribed, and if you like what you hear, and you can leave a rating and review, I would really appreciate that, because that helps the podcast get to more people, and that's the goal here. So, all right, let's dive into the episode. What's the best home gym equipment for limited space and on a limited budget? And like I mentioned earlier, I really love when people try to maximize the space that they have, want to work out from home and really get legitimately good workouts in from home. If I'm being honest with you guys, the minute I started building a home gym, I loved it. And it just got better and better and better as time goes on. And now it's like my safe haven. And we have a basement gym here at my house. I just absolutely love it. And I often think when I'm in my home gym about how I could never go back to a commercial gym on a regular basis. And I hear from people all the time about, the common struggles you experience in the commercial gym, and there's, videos online all the time about crazy stuff that happens, whether it's like somebody doing just crazy shit on a machine that they shouldn't be doing, or people being rude, not wiping off equipment, not, asking if they can share equipment or work in with you, or people ask to work in with you and you really don't want to work in with them. People leave their gym equipment everywhere. They have no respect for other members in the gym. It's, being in a commercial gym is not like hell on earth. I don't want to make it come off that way, but there definitely are some aggravating aspects of being in a commercial gym, a public gym, for your workouts on a regular basis that, they always annoyed me. And once I started building my own home gym, it's like I unleashed this freedom, and I've loved it every second of the way since I started building the home gym here. And I've actually produced a lot of pieces of content, more like short form stuff on social media about my home gym, and a lot of those have really taken off because I did this one video once that was how to build an entire home gym for the same price as a Peloton bike. And it's the most viewed social media clip I've ever put out there. It's like over 2 million views on this video now, and just real quick saying, I got this and this and this and this and this and this. And if you tally it up, this is the same price as a Peloton bike. So why would you buy just a Peloton bike when you can build an entire home gym that has a spin bike? People really received that well. And you may be listening because you saw that video and you found me and now you're subscribed to my podcast. But either way, I've gotten a lot of people that have responded well to the types of home gym hacks and equipment and techniques and suggestions that I put out there. So it just made sense to put this podcast episode together. So if you're thinking about creating a home gym, it could be for a lot of those reasons I mentioned about, just working out around tons of people in the gym. You're tired of waiting to use equipment at the commercial gym. I don't think I mentioned that one. The commute, that's a real thing. How much do you value your time? And then how much time are you spending driving to the gym and back when you could repurpose all that time to better workouts if you had a gym at home? There's a lot of reasons why people are building their own home gyms now. And obviously on top of all of that stuff that just normally happens at the gym, we're obviously still living in a pandemic, and a lot of things changed around 2 years ago when the pandemic hit. And you saw a lot of people not feeling comfortable going to the gym. So they said, well, I'm going to just have to build one at home now. And obviously that led to a lot of complications with companies hiking the prices on people, which was kind of criminal, and it made it a lot more difficult. But at the end of the day, if you're thinking about building a home gym space in your house, or you want to improve on your home gym space in your house, we're going to make that work here today. Again, on limited space and with a limited budget, let's dive into a few pieces of equipment that I think would be really beneficial for you if you're looking to do this, to have a home gym space in your home. So the first one that I would recommend you start with is around $20. You're not going to break the bank over this one. I would recommend everybody that has a home gym, get yourself a yoga mat. Okay. We're going to start on the ground and we're going to build our way up here as we go through this list of pieces of equipment. But whatever your space looks like, you're probably going to benefit from having a yoga mat just because it's either going to give your body protection from the ground, or it's going to give the ground protection from your body or any of the other equipment that you're using. Because when you do exercises with your body on the floor, first and foremost, that can be uncomfortable for you. If you have hardwood, or my home gym here is in an unfinished basement, so we have concrete floor downstairs, and it is not comfortable to lay on a concrete floor when you're trying to do certain exercises that require you to do that. So that's not comfortable. Hardwood floors are not comfortable. Even certain types of carpets or rugs can be uncomfortable, and if they're rubbing up against your skin, lead to some discomfort, so that's not good. And I think by purchasing a yoga mat, it's so cheap. It's a no-brainer. You could put a nice little comfortable barrier between you and the floor. And then at the same time, it can help prevent potential damage to the floor in your house, wherever you're choosing to do your workouts. Because if you decide to invest in other things like a set of dumbbells or something like that, when you're putting those dumbbells down, you probably, every single time you put them down, you're not going to put them down gently. So if you can put them down onto a yoga mat, it's just going to help protect your floor that much more. And I did a quick search on Amazon to put this list together. And like I said, there are tons of options for $20 that it's going to be super, super easy for you to get one. So if you do not have one, I would highly recommend you get one. That's a great place to start. Now, beyond that, the next place we can go and still kind of keep budget in mind and try to spend as little money as possible is a set of resistance bands. I have clients, well, right now I do, and I feel like I pretty much have always had at least one or two clients who are doing at-home workouts that are using at least a few exercises with resistance bands. Resistance bands are not equal to free weights, okay? They're not equal to machines or anything like that. You're not going to get as good of workouts with resistance bands as you could with free weights, but that's not to say that you can't get good workouts in with resistance bands. You absolutely can. And if you don't have any type of free weights at home, resistance bands are a great place to start because it's going to give you that opportunity to go from doing body weight exercises and upscale, take that next step up to add resistance to the exercises that you're doing. And I would say, so I have an article about this topic on my website. If you just search what's the best home gym equipment for limited space, you should find it on Google. You could add my name, Chris Gates, and it should get you to this article because I have links to different products that I think you could potentially buy. And to be clear, I'm not affiliated with anything that I'm talking about in this episode, so I'm not going to make a single penny off of it. I just want to recommend things that I believe in. I have some videos in this article on my website that break down or show you the types of equipment that I am recommending. And for resistance bands, I have a video in there embedded into the article of me doing a resistance band chest press. And I would highly recommend you to check out my YouTube channel because if you buy resistance bands, I have an entire exercise library with tons of videos of me giving you exercise tutorials with resistance bands, and you should check those out because it's going to be super helpful. But it's an inexpensive piece of home gym equipment to get started with. They can be stored away and take up literally no space at all. They typically come in like some type of drawstring bag. They'll come in different shapes and sizes and have different handle attachments and stuff like that they come with. I recommend the style of resistance bands that has a carabiner on the end because they allow you to hook the resistance bands up in the most different variety of ways. The packs that are my favorite, and again, I have a link to a brand that I've used in the past. It's only $20. It comes with 5 bands, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds of resistance each one. And it allows you to add resistance to your exercises and progress over time by switching bands, right? So once you do an exercise with a 10-pound band and it starts to feel easy, you can go up to a 20-pound band. And the pack that I recommend, most of the packs have these. There's different handles. They'll come with a door anchor so you can set things up where you're allowed to do, or you're able to do horizontal movements in addition to, stepping on the bands and doing curls and pulling up. You can use the door anchor to hook the resistance bands to the top of your door and do pull downs. You can really do basically any motor pattern with resistance bands. And like I said, it's cheap, it's easy, it takes up no space at all. All you really need is your body and the resistance bands. And if you have a door, then that opens you up to all kinds of additional exercises that you can do. And if you, I'm going to guess you have a door. I'm going to guess you have a door and you can make this work. So that's number 2. Now we're going to take a small step up in price here for number 3. And I am so unbelievably passionate about this piece of equipment. I recommend everybody get a pulley, a cable pulley for your home gym space. And this is one that I feel like not enough people know about, because if you have anywhere in your home or in your garage or somewhere, if you have a pole or a hook or a bar, or if you're able to install a hook or a bar or something like that in your home, you can wrap a cable pulley around it and turn for virtually anything in your house into weight that you can do exercises with. You can curl with. You can do pull downs. You can do, cable flies. You can do so many different exercise variations with these cable pulleys. The one that I recommend is from a company called Bells of Steel. I absolutely love it. It's only $55. And like I said, you can lift virtually anything with it. You don't need traditional weight plates or dumbbells or anything like that. I do have the weight plates, and normally when you buy a pulley like this, it comes with something that is intended for you to attach it to a weight plate, but you could load up a backpack with books and use that as weight and hook it to your pulley and do all kinds of exercise variations. And again, on my YouTube channel, in my exercise library, I have tons of different tutorial exercises of me doing things with a pulley, because that's how I do, virtually like half of the exercises in my own exercise program every week. Use a pulley. And again, this one is at $55. That's not bad. That is not a lot of money. It takes up virtually no space at all. And it has been a game changer for me. Some of the folks I work with that work out at home, I've also suggested it to them, and it's been a game changer for them. Of all the home gym equipment, I think that you can utilize to maximize the limited space that you have, and on a budget, this is probably the one I recommend the most, because if you get one of these at-home cable pulleys, it quite honestly, like, you can skip the resistance bands. You can skip the resistance bands and go to this pulley, because you're going to be able to do basically everything that you could do with resistance bands, but you're going to add way more weight to it, and you're going to much more closely mimic what using a lot of those cable machines are like in the gym. So if you're familiar with being in the gym where, like, you have a tricep press down, that's a cable thing with an attachment, right? That your hands grip the attachment and you press the cable down and you do tricep press downs. Cable flies, same type of thing. Seated rows where you're rowing a cable into your body. Cable curls with bicep curls. You're curling a cable up. You can do all of these types of exercises and add weight to it in really creative and easy ways. And I would highly, highly recommend that you check it out. Actually, you know what? I've mentioned this article already so many times in this episode that I'm just going to put a link to this article on my site in the show notes. So check that out in the show notes. What's the best gym equipment for limited space? And you can, if any of these sound interesting to you, you can hit that link and you're going to find all the information that I'm talking about in this episode. So that's a big one. That cable pulley is a game changer for any home gym. And if you're able to rig it up, I would highly recommend that you get one. At only $55, it's a no-brainer. Okay, the next one that I'm going to recommend here, number 4, is going to be a set of adjustable dumbbells. And this is where we really take the next step up in terms of price and somewhat considerably. So you're going to be able to find adjustable dumbbells on the internet ranging anywhere from like $200 to $1,000. It's gotten pretty crazy. This is one of the pieces of equipment that was in the most high demand when the pandemic hit and prices skyrocketed. They've come back down for the most part, but are still hovering above where they were before the pandemic hit. So you're going to pay more money for these, but it's going to open up. So if you get a pair of adjustable dumbbells, it's going to open up so many different exercise variations for you that there's going to be almost nothing that you can't do aside from having a barbell. You know what I mean? Like, aside from that, you're going to be able to do pretty much anything that you want to do. So if you have the money, I would recommend it, because these are not going to take up space, right? They're not going to take up much space at all. And they're going to be worth the money that you spend, because you're going to be able to do so many different things. The ones that I use and I recommend are the Bowflex adjustable dumbbells. I've found them to be the highest quality. I will say, though, I also have a set of cast iron dumbbells that were much cheaper. They're not as user-friendly. They're not as easy to take the weight on and off. And, they take up a little bit more space. They're not as comfortable to use, but like I said, they were a lot cheaper than the Bowflex ones. I got a lot more weight with them. and you can still do all the same things. It's just, the quality and the ease of use is not going to be the same. But if you have the money and you can invest in the Bowflex ones, I'd recommend those. I've also heard very good things about Power Blocks. I don't use them personally. Or you could go the cast iron route. The cast iron dumbbells that I have are a brand called Yes for All, which I had never heard of. When the pandemic hit, I found them on Walmart.com. And I got them for $1 a pound. Right now, they're like $1.25 a pound. I got 2 Yes for All dumbbells that went up to 100 pounds each, which is awesome. So, and you can go in 5-pound increments all the way from 5 pounds to 100 pounds, which is awesome. I got them for around $200. Right now, they're selling for like $230, but that's still not bad. That's really not bad if you want to get a lot of weight and be able to use it in a lot of different ways. So that's my number 4 recommendation. And the last one I have here, number 5, is a adjustable weight bench. So what this is the piece of equipment that, you can take the back of it. It can be completely flat where you lay down on your back and you're doing chest press or something like that. And you can take the seat back and rotate it all the way up to a 90-degree angle, right? So it can be completely flat or anywhere in between flat and up to a 90-degree angle where you're sitting with a straight back and a support behind you. If you have the room for this is going to be it's going to take up the most room in your limited space for a home gym, but I would highly recommend it because if you pair this, especially with the adjustable dumbbells that I just talked about, I mean, there's almost nothing that you can't do. Again, aside from getting a barbell and lifting, doing barbell movements, there's almost nothing that you won't be able to do. And really, like, this takes up the most space of all these pieces of equipment, but it's actually not that large. And if you have a few feet of space to work with, you can store it there. So if you have a set of dumbbells and you have a adjustable weight bench, it's gonna dramatically increase the variety of the exercises you can do at home. It would allow you to do things like chest presses, one-arm rows, chest-supported rows, pullovers, direct tricep and bicep work, and so many other exercise variations throughout your body that you wouldn't otherwise be able to do. The one that I recommend, and again, I have a link to this in the article that you can find in the show notes, is from Titan Fitness. It's their V2 incline bench, and it's only $150. So that's one of the most reasonably priced adjustable benches on the market. The quality is pretty good for it. I would say, like, in my home gym, I do have a barbell and I'm able to bench press and squat and deadlift and stuff like that. I have bench pressed, I don't know, like 250, 260 on this bench with a barbell, and had no problems, never worried about instability or anything like that. It has always been high quality and worked really well for me. Every once in a while, and this is just part of good gym maintenance, every once in a while I've taken an Allen wrench and just made sure all the screws were tight on it. But for the most part, like it's been great. It's been perfectly fine and worked for a lot of the things that I want to do here in my home gym. Most of these flat benches, you don't have to get that Titan one. Most of these flat benches are around 5 feet long. They're around 1.5 feet wide, and they can go up to 4 feet tall. So it's the largest piece. But like I said, if you have a few feet to work with, you could slide it in there and it should fit relatively well. And again, allow you to do so many different things. So that is my 5th and final piece of equipment that I would recommend for limited space and on a limited budget. So let's run through and just recap these again. Starting with a yoga mat, which would be around $20. Resistance bands would run you around $20. A cable pulley is going to be around $50, $55. Adjustable dumbbells is where you take the next step, right? That's going to be anywhere from $200 to $800, depending on what brand you want to go with. And then the incline bench is probably going to be around $150. So all told, the equipment in this article, based on what I bought, tallies up to around $650, which is quite honestly a small investment when you factor in how much quality work you'll be able to do for years and years and years to come. again, back to what I said, like if you value your time, you're not going to be commuting back and forth to the gym. You're not going to be wasting time waiting for people to get off the equipment that you want to use. You're not going to deal with a lot of the frustrations that happen when you're in the gym. It all really is worth it in the end, in my opinion. And like if I look at my gym now, what we have paid for our gym is somewhere between like $3,500 and $4,000 is what I've tallied it up to. There's a lot of like little accessory pieces that I don't think I've added all of them up, but somewhere between $3,500 and $4,000. And there's literally nothing different about our home gym and a commercial gym at this point. So the cool thing is, like, once you start buying these pieces of equipment, it's like every 6 months to a year, you could buy a new one. And as you add to your gym over time, you find that like you just build this awesome space that is perfect for exactly what you want to do with fitness. And then, like for me, it becomes your own little safe haven in your house where you get to, work out, train hard, and enjoy it. So I highly recommend it. And if you're interested in getting, building that home gym and then also getting some coaching to help you make the most out of that situation that you have at home, like I said, I'd love to hear from you, love to talk to you about what your goals are. So you can find a link to my coaching page in the show notes. And if you're interested, shoot an application over and we'll talk. But thank you so much for listening to this episode of the podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was helpful. If you end up getting any of these pieces of equipment, let me know what you think. I would love to hear. And yeah, I'm excited to talk to you again next week in next week's episode. But until then, hope you have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon.